California, the atmospheric river is here, so we're going to talk about you for the next few days. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Pews, November 13th, 2025. Now, before we get to the west coast, talking about the east coast, because we still have this low-level low-pressure system that's just lingering somewhere around the Nova Scotia area. And so we're looking at 850 millibars or 5,000 feet above the surface, and because low pressures are counterclockwise flow, this is still bringing in that westerly to northwesterly flow. And so for regions south and east of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, you guys are still dealing with lake effect precipitation, but most likely it's going to be rain because temperatures today are going to be around the 40s. And because large bodies heat and cool a lot slower than land, that's why we've had a lot of heat being retained from the summer in these Great Lakes, and that's why we've been having a lot of lake effect precipitation. But in any case, it's not too much to worry about unless you live on or adjacent to the Appalachian Mountains, as the winds going upward the mountain are causing orographic lift, and because the winds are being forced to go up, it's cooling the air, producing those snow showers. Now, the opposite thing is happening if you live on the eastern side of the Rocky Mountains. Because the air is being forced to go downward, we're having a thing called downslope warming, where the air is being compressed and thus warming up. And so if you live in the Eastern Rockies, it may feel really nice right now where you're going to see temperatures in the 60s and 70s. But in addition to that downslope warming, it also decreases the relative humidity, which is going to make the air feel more dry. So throughout the Eastern Rockies, we're going to see relative humidities around 15% or even lower. But specifically around the New Mexico, Texas area, we're going to have a low pressure develop, which is going to increase that pressure gradient and also bring in more westerly flow, bringing in more of that downslope warming. And so we're going to have more surface wind speeds around 15 to 20 miles per hour. And so with that being said, we're going to have a fire risk from New Mexico all the way to Texas. Okay, so now for the west coast, specifically for northwestern Washington and California. The Weather Prediction Center has issued a marginal risk for flash flooding in both areas, but also a slight risk for the San Francisco area, but also along the mountain ranges in the Northern California area. From central to northern California, you guys can expect moderate to heavy rain pretty consistently throughout the entire day today. And the biggest concern for flash flooding is going to be both in urban areas and areas around or adjacent of the mountains, as runoff and especially in places of burn scars is going to be the biggest risk. As for northwestern Washington, it's going to be kind of the similar story, but things are going to start to diminish around 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Now for the rest of California, such as Southern California, you guys are going to see stuff start happening tomorrow around 1 a.m. Pacific time tonight. And as that's happening tonight, places like Northern California are going to see a lot less showers. But throughout the entirety of tonight and tomorrow, from Southern California to Central California, you guys are going to start seeing these consistent moderate to heavy rain. And so the Weather Prediction Center is predicting the amount of rainfall from now until about Monday. Some places around the mountains could see around 4 to 6 inches of rainfall, and then places more flat, maybe around 2 to 4.